And we live. Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Watch Your Mouth Reviews. This is your boy James, where I am here to give my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. Not gonna happen in this video, but hey, we'll live to fight another day. Joining me as always is my co-host, Mrs. Beth. I'll say what's up to her.
I love it. He said, "Well, I'm trying to watch my mouth." I love it. Hi, like the video, share it. I like James's channel. I watch it too. Even though I be here, you guys should subscribe, watch his channel, love on him.
Absolutely. Subscribe. And while you're doing that, subscribe to also to Mrs. Best. Any reality TV shows that I don't recap on my channel, such as Love and Hip Hop Miami and also Real Housewives of Beverly Hills that are both currently on, we recap those on Mrs. Best's channel. And also she has music reviews as well. So if you guys are into the music era, check out her channel. It is amazing. I'm always there. So I'm not always there co-hosting like I should be on the music reviews, but I'll come back one day.
You're always welcome.
Yes, but we have her link here, and it's also in my description box. Y'all, please subscribe to my friend's channel. And we want to shout out Kevin Reynolds for being here. We appreciate you. Thank you
Hi,
so much.
Kevin. Hello.
So, y'all, this was a great episode. They kept it in one sequence. We was at Meredith's bar mitzvah the entire episode, and I love when they do that because that makes it easy for me to remember, and I don't have to do many notes. So, I love it. I love it. I love it. But first, y'all, we got to do some cleanup housekeeping opinion wise because they have just released the seating chart for the reunion. The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City have had the reunion over this week, and they have the seating chart, and here it is. We have a lot to talk about, y'all, because I told y'all, and I told Bravo in their call center, and they act like they didn't hear me. I said that I felt Mary should have had first seat next to Andy. And I agree that Lisa should have had the other first seat. I do agree to that. So Lisa did get first seat, but Angie K got the other seat across from her. So I guess their drama blowout was the biggest thing to ever hit Salt Lake City as far as the drama goes. And I disagree. So, Mary did get second seat, though. She did. But hi, Naya. Thank you for joining us, love. We appreciate you. I'm glad you are here. Thank you for coming. But I felt like Angie and Mary need to switch. They do. Sorry, y'all.
I feel like I actually don't think Mary deserved a first seat. I feel like Mary should be sitting in a second seat. I do, because the only thing she really gave this season, though it was a lot and personal with her child, we don't get as much Mary in every episode as I would like. If she was in almost every episode, fine, give her, you know, first seat, but I didn't feel like she gave enough. She was just entertaining. But she does deserve second seat. I feel like they need to bump Heather out of that second seat and put Angie into Heather's seat, put Bronwyn into the first seat because she's someone who has interacted with someone, had beef with everybody, checked everybody when it was needed. So I feel like Bronwyn was more relevant just with connecting to more people. But I think Kevin, I can agree with that. We only know so much, but if it keeps going the way it's going now, I'm like, eh. But definitely Heather and Whitney can go to the end with Brittany. I don't know why Heather is so far up on the seating chart, but I love Mary to death. I really do. But second seat makes sense. Bronwyn needs to be in that damn first seat. She just does. Angie deserves a second seat. I agree with Lisa being where she is. And then from there, I think it could have been Meredith across from Heather and Whitney and this, whatever her name is, chick with her slutty hair. She should stay where she is.
So let me ask you something. So you don't think Mary deserved the Giselle Bryant treatment? You know how Giselle Bryant has been in the first seat for what, 7 seasons?
And I say for 7 seasons, I don't understand why Giselle is there. Um, the thing of it is, Giselle Bryant's treatment is not within reason. Mary being in a second seat makes sense. Giselle being in a second seat doesn't make sense. Giselle being in the first seat doesn't make sense. Giselle being in the third seat don't make sense. Giselle
Who
needs to be
else?
way at the end, around the corner, and down the street.
Who else get first seat chair treatment that does not deserve it? Kyle Richards is another one.
Yeah, yeah.
Kyle Richards is. I was gonna say Kyle gets first seat treatment every time. I felt like
On Miami, I feel like they always mess up the seats on Housewives of Miami, which I'll be
Mhm.
recapping y'all whenever it comes back. But they They always give the seats, it seems like, on the Housewives of Miami to whoever's most popular social media wise. But I think Bravo is doing these seating charts based on who's popular and their own personal favorites. That's why I'm like, Bravo, y'all.
But even then, that would be Mary for Andy because, well, one, they were friends first before this, and then two, like he's always having her reference in like almost every Watch What Happens lives when the housewives are on there. He
He's
has the glasses.
referencing Andy is not anyone of color's friend. I stand by that.
Okay, I agree with that.
That's my personal opinion. I feel like Andy is a great businessman and understands that he has to interact with all people to make these shows successful because they want to put people from a little bit of everywhere. But um, I don't trust Andy Cohen. I think all, especially with all the allegations and stuff that come out. Because why is Heather up there? Like, if we ignore everything else on this chart, the one thing I think everyone who's watched can agree on: why is Heather in second seat?
No, I agree with that. Heather needs to be moved with Meredith. I
Heather
don't
needs to
mind.
sit across from her little raggedy ass friend with the slutty hair. That's what she needs to do.
Then where are you gonna put Whitney?
Away.
Okay, so this is my idea. I feel like okay, I can see your point. I do think Brahma should have had first seat if it wasn't Mary. Because I don't think Angie deserves first seat. I don't think she's done anything, at least in my eyes, that would give her first seat status. That's like Mia. I didn't feel like Mia did anything to get first seat status, but she was the only entertainment on Real Housewives of Potomac, so they had to do that. So let me just see here. Oh yes, we love to support
I
everybody.
love LA, Kevin. Like, if I could live in LA, and James will tell you, me and James love LA. We would love to live
Absolutely,
there. It's just so expensive. But I also love people from LA. I seem to connect better. This sounds so bad. Sorry, Bay Area. I seem to
right.
connect better with people from LA and like on the East Coast than I do with people here in the Bay Area. I don't know why,
Believe me,
but love y'all.
if I could afford to live in LA, I would. If I had no problems with money, I definitely would live in LA. No question about it.
We'd be
When
gone
I get
yesterday.
married, I know y'all know because y'all know who I'm marrying. We live in LA. So I know I'm gonna get there at some point. I just don't know when that will be. But until then, I'm just gonna enjoy being 5 hours away in Phoenix. It's fine.
I'm also 5 hours away.
Yes, I'm fine. I'm fine with being 5 hours away. It is absolutely fine because I can get there in a hop, skip, and a jump, and probably two flips. But but I'm gonna get there eventually. So y'all, let's get into this episode. I'm sorry, we off topic here. We spent a little bit. I just wanted to put up the seating chart because I didn't 100% agree with it, and it is what it is. We'll see. We'll put the looks up when I get a copy of them. I really feel like the best dress, I'm just gonna recall it. I feel like my best dress is gonna be who really brought the fashions this season? I feel like Angie brought the fashions this season. So I feel like my best dress is gonna be Angie because she was one of my worst dress last reunion. So I feel like I'm gonna give her best dress, and then the worst dress, I know Whitney's gonna come through and give me worst dress. So worst dress gonna be Whitney.
Whitney needs a whole new styling team, from
She
hair
did.
to makeup to everything. She just, ooh, the 70s and 80s. What a time.
Yeah,
He
what a
was having
time.
fun.
Yeah, in LA. That's especially when black people were starting to thrive in LA too. Ooh, you were definitely in some good times there. Like, you know, especially Baldwin Hills. Oh my gosh. Like in the 70s and 80s. Like my cousin lived in Baldwin Hills from I think the 60s. Like, because her husband was one of the chief executives for FedEx Freight, and they lived in Baldwin Hills for a long ass time since the late 60s. So
That's where I
she
would
just sold
love
her
to
house
go.
2 years ago because her husband passed. She just sold her house 2 years ago and then moved here to Phoenix. So yeah, but
Hmm.
yeah, I love Baldwin. I could just imagine. Okay, we get inside it. This is all like this. Sorry, y'all. But I love that you put that up, Kevin Rose, because that just brings back like why I love LA. So, anyways, y'all, this episode, we're at Meredith's bar mitzvah, Mazel tov. Congratulations to Meredith. We're happy that she is doing this. Yes, no, but yes. So, Heather gets there first, and she's excited. She was giving us her history of her experience with Jewish faith. She said when she was in Denver, she went to plenty of bar mitzvahs and everything. She said once she was telling her daughter, who also joined her, is about her experience with drinking alcohol when she was a young kid, and they were just it was the liquor was so good, and she was Mormon, and they don't divulge in alcohol. So that was a good experience for her. Um, who was it that got there next? Bronwyn. Bronwyn and her husband show up. Bronwyn, I loved her dress. I thought it was inappropriate for the event, but I loved her dress nonetheless. It was beautiful. And she looked nice. And, she goes up to Heather and everything. And they actually are, very cordial with each other, which I was very shocked by. Because, seeing these two really have not seen it for each other. I know they did make a path forward to wanting to get to know each other when they were at Mary's house. But, Heather takes a long time for her to warm up to people, so I was very shocked that she warmed up to Bronwyn. Brittany
She
gets
warmed
there.
up to Bronwyn because Heather now understands that she can't pull the same BS with Bronwyn. Bronwyn will call her out, fight, stand her ground, and keep her foot on her neck and up her little hole behind.
Absolutely, I agree. Absolutely, she will. Lisa gets there, and Lisa sees some of Meredith's family. She's like, "Hi, friends. Hi, everybody." She does show up solo. John isn't here with her, but Lisa has the same style, the same dress pattern. I feel like Lisa has 150 of the same dress cut patterns.
Let me tell y'all this. Lisa wears the same dresses, the same hair, the same makeup, the same clothes all the time. Doesn't matter the event. She doesn't understand elegant wear from casual wear to active wear. Lisa has looked the same and then tries to talk like she's a fashionista, cried over makeup and all of that last season. I am very sorry to say this, and y'all can cancel me if you want. This is just an opinion. In my opinion, Lisa's one of the least attractive housewives of all of the franchises. That old lady mouth, the way it wrinkles right before them lips fold in and you can't see them. I can't do it. Her hair never has volume. She barely curls it. She don't do nothing different. And I'm like, oh no, Lisa, I don't know if nobody told you, but you need some help with clothing. Right, Naya. She really feel like she's that girl. But in the words of Todd, Bronwyn's husband, I feel like Lisa's fit, style, all of that is mediocre, just like the tequila. I'm sorry, I do. You're muted, my darling.
I hate this
Okay, I'm
thing.
gonna be good. I'm gonna be good, Jim,
I
but
hate
I'm
this
gonna
thing.
be
I
good.
hate this thing. I hate this thing. But yeah, so Lisa has the same cut out dress pattern. She has at least 150 of those because I'm telling you, it's the same thing. Um, Mayla joins the group, and I'm gonna put this up here.
Now
So
you calling her Mela. I
I don't have time. I never remember her name, y'all, and it's in my notes. But I'm gonna call her Mayla. So Mayla joins up. She with her husband. We ain't seen her. She pops in and out. She was supposed to be a friend to the show and in some drama, but we never see her. But she did show up to the event. And ladies are, and also Brittany. I know. I don't know if I said Brittany showed up, but Brittany is there as well. And Bronwyn, Brittany, and Mayla are talking. They, said we haven't seen each other since Mary's house. And they asked her, is Mary coming? And they said, we don't know if Mary's coming. So we have a flashback to Angie being over at Mary's house. And she asked Mary, are you going to Meredith's bar mitzvah? And Mary says she doesn't know. And Mary, starts getting emotional because she goes, I need to be here for my family right now. And Angie said, is everything okay? And Mary just, nodded her head. She didn't tell Angie at the time or at the moment what it was, but she said, we'll talk. We'll talk. So let me see what y'all say in these comments here. Lisa looks so basically relates to her style of dress. Yes, we do.
Naya, I am
Mm-hmm.
hollering. She said a coupon to Taco Bell.
Naya, I done told you. I done told you.
Oh
Her
my
hair is long. She needs
god.
extensions and a trim. You know what I want Lisa to do? I want Lisa to get like a bob or something. You know how Rihanna had that bob for her third album? I want Lisa to get that hairstyle. I do. Because it
Hmm.
needs to be something different. Like I need her to wow me. And I feel like, well, she can't wear no shortcut with some curls, so she
She
got to.
don't even Lisa don't even change up enough to give us like with the hair she has a side part, a middle part. Like she does the same trailer park middle part for
Well, she
every
got to, because
single.
she don't. Because you remember Bravo zoomed in on her wrinkles when she was getting her makeup done. And you could tell she was smiling like, Oh my God, I don't want y'all here right now. So we love when you do it too. It's so much fun. But so they don't know if Mary's coming. And Bronwyn sees Angie because Angie walks up with Sean and lets us know she's not in the best place with Angie right now because she doesn't like how Angie told her to, shut the fuck up at the camp trip and everything. She said it twice. And she said that that's enough for me. I don't have anything for Angie right now. So, and when she was telling Brittany this, Brittany said, yeah, Angie said I was like sleeping with like 10 guys and I'm not Mormon or whatever. And I'm looking at Brittany like, that is not what that lady said. That lady said that it's hard for her to determine that you're a practicing, well-versed Mormon when every time she see you, you're drinking wine and you talking about how you doing three guys. Now, and she didn't say 10. And yet you showed up with a man at her housewarming party and then was crying upset when your ex walked in. So that's already two men right there. So come on, Brittany, go somewhere and sit down. Because I'm tired of you. I really am. FYI, this will be the last time seeing air. Her further scenes were cut out after Bravo discovered her politic antics. Who?
Oh, who's political?
Who's political antics? I need to know this.
Can Bravo do that? Like,
Yes,
not let people on the show based on their political?
they can
Because
cut their scenes out, so their scenes just won't make the cut.
see,
Yes,
I
they
don't
can do
know much about TV
it.
and the industry like that. And so I think of it like how I would think of my own workplace. Like, we do not talk about politics unless it impacts our funding because I work for a nonprofit, but that's about as deep as it goes. So that's different. That's
Mm-hmm.
different.
Her
Oh,
meaning that. Also, Mela, what's Mela's political antics? What was she doing? Please
well,
don't tell me she's
she's
another Jenny
in.
Nguyen. Is she another Jenny Nguyen?
Let me explain to people something about Salt Lake City. I've been very many times. I know people who done moved there, ran away from there. I know people from there. Whenever a state is ran by the church, which Utah as a whole is, unfortunately, the more religious, the more BS that comes with it. Now, I don't care who people vote for in all of those things because some people don't base it on that. But if you've ever been to Utah, as an African American person specifically, you will feel every eye on you. You will see people actually hold their purse close. You will see people checking their earrings, looking at their cars. Like, that's why I'm surprised that this franchise has thrived so well. And then you have like Housewives of Dallas that just failed. Because I think all of these women, especially Heather and Whitney, are a little bit racist. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. Heather, Whitney, Lisa, I think we see it the most in. But yeah, it's it's Salt Lake City. It's not exactly the place you go to be free and not judged. You go there, you're gonna get judged. People gonna look at you crazy, and they don't let you drink the way you want to.
This part right here. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It was Mormon religion was built off the backs of racism and this whole like the whole Quaker. That's why when we learned about Quakers in history and stuff and how they were just like these appeasing people, and it was like, no, it was not. So yeah, I already know they didn't allow black people in until like what, the late 70s, early 80s. Like,
And the only ones to speak about that, oddly, is Heather. But Heather gives me the type of racist that's going to be willing to call out other racists so nobody pays attention to how racist she
it's
may
like
be.
an undertone. I have a friend like
Yeah.
it's an undertone. Yes, I have one of my really close friends, and I didn't learn this about her until Trump became into office. And I had known her since 2008. So when did Trump get into office? It was what, 16?
Yes.
Okay, so imagine going 8 years, never having a problem with somebody, never having any racial undertones with somebody. Friends are like, she there for me. I got a flat tire. She came and got me at 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, just there for me. Like, just everything. As soon as Trump got in office, all of that changed. Where it was like, oh, the black people had to have done something for the police to shoot them. They're just not going to shoot them. Or it became, oh yeah, what Trump did to the people, like he was really helping them. So he was just being funny when he threw the paper towels at people. It was like things just kept adding up and adding up and adding up and adding up. And I'm like, damn, I really got to cut you off as a friend.
That's why I cut off Crystal's ass. I don't care. She knows it, and I tell everybody because she got with some guy. She moved to West Virginia from the Bay Area, got with him, and he was like, ew, you know, black people. And then I'm like, okay, well, maybe that's him, not her. Then she started making comments when the presidency changed. She was like, ugh, every time I see a black person out here, it's just problems. Ugh, I can't understand it. Ah, they're
Well,
probably a
she's
damn
always
black
been like
person.
that. She's always been like that.
I
Like
don't
she's
deal with that. I
always.
love my people. I'm black as hell. You're not gonna do that. Either you rock with us or you don't. There is no in
No, it's
between.
not that. What I'm saying is she adjusts her personality, her
I don't
demeanor,
accept
everything.
personality. If adjusting my personality should never entail looking down on or talking about others based
If
on their
that's what
race.
everyone around her is doing, that's what she's going to do. She did it with us.
Mm-mm, I don't do
All
that.
that
She never did
acting,
that with
all that
me.
propaganda she was doing with us, that wasn't how Crystal was. That was
No,
not how she was when I met her. She
I
was
don't
very much
trust it.
Hollister surfer chick. And mind you, her best friend at the time, I had known her since I was in middle school. That's
Mm-mm.
not
They
her. That was
both,
never her.
her and
So,
that Michelle girl, they're both racist as hell. Her
mhm.
boyfriend cheated. One of them dated a black guy. The boyfriend cheated on the white girl, and then she was like, "I'm sick of these N words. I can't stand those women taking my man." I was like, "Girl, be mad at your man. What that got to do with race? He gonna be a hoe either way." He said my main reason for not liking Heather was during one of her confessionals when she mentioned her infatuation with black men. She gives BBC.
She do. No, you know that's what that is. That's that fetish that they a lot of them have. It's weird that they would like to use us in that manner like that because that's wrong and that's disrespectful. But yeah, I remember that. I do. Her man, her man, her man. Yeah, I guess there's yes for my friend and Mrs. Besco. That hurt me. Like that hurt me to know that someone who could be there for me would want to pray for my downfall as a black man. That hurt me to my core. Absolutely. Yeah, it happens though. That's why I said, you gotta watch who you're surrounding with. People, when stuff gets hard. That's why I said, judge your friendship when stuff gets hard, and see if they still would show up for you anyway. And then wait moments after to see if it still happens in the same way. If it still happens in the same way, then you're fine. Now, everybody has secret, prejudices. We all have them. We all have things that we don't like that's morally incorrect. We all do. And sometimes it's supposed to stay hidden because you could probably see through that through people. But when it shows, that's when you have to start questioning and removing it. But we all have secret prejudices, some more than others, and some make sense and some don't.
It's a
But
scientific fact.
yes.
Everybody does. Everybody
Hmm.
does.
Absolutely. So moving on from there, Whitney shows up with her husband, and she ignores Bronwyn as well. And Whitney's problem with Bronwyn is that Bronwyn twisted her words to Heather that day at the event, and so this is where we're going to go into some discussion talk because that's not quite what Bronwyn did. Um, I still think that Whitney has a valid reason to be mad at Bronwyn, but it's not for that. It's not for that, Whitney. Like, I feel like what should have happened in that moment for me that would give Whitney a validation point for me is if she said that Brahman took that situation and turned it to where it would be a more credible issue versus my stating issue. Like, for example, I gave you my feeling of Heather. Now, it's just a feeling. I wasn't talking crap about her because we go through that from time to time, but we always come out on the other side fine. If that conversation happened in that way, then Brahma wouldn't have a point at all, and that would have been messy of her. But Brahma has a point because she does not know y'all, and she does not know that that's how you and Heather interact. So for her being the outside looking in, yes, I'm surprised y'all threw an event together, considering you and I had a conversation to where it sounded like you were just ragging on her. Now Heather didn't. Now once Heather didn't feel a way about that, I would have let that go and apologized to it. Okay, Whitney. Well, then obviously my assessment was wrong. She don't care, and I shouldn't either. And let's move on. That's how I felt about that. But Mrs. Best, how did you feel about
Mm, I don't know. I guess pretty much the same. I just don't care for Whitney on the show no more.
that?
And in my opinion, if Heather's supposed to be your cousin, and then in addition to that, the original cast members of Salt Lake City, when new people come on the show, act like they got to stick together. You could tell that they pre-produce and plan stuff in the background. So I don't know. It's why would you go and talk about someone that you've known for years with someone that you just met? Do y'all get where I'm coming from with that? Like, it's not even
Yes.
about being close friends with somebody. There's people that I have as acquaintances that I've known for years and years, and we may have meet somebody new together. I'm not going to talk about somebody I've known of with somebody new. I feel like that's where a lot of people make mistakes. You shouldn't be talking about anybody else that you wouldn't want to hear uh, with someone new that you just met, because you don't know this person well enough to know if they're going to be able to hold water and keep their fucking mouth shut. That's how I feel. But at the same time, I'm like, Brahma did make it seem a little more dramatic than it actually was. However, Brahmin didn't do nothing none of these other ladies done did before. So what I see is that Whitney can dish it out. She likes to be in everybody else's business. She likes to talk about everybody, especially if she's upset with them. But when something like that happens to her and she's on the receiving end of it, she gets mad. And then these ladies like to, I'm going to ignore her. Maybe they just won't film her, and Brahma still found a way to be filmed to get more camera time to y'all. So I don't know. Brahman, I want you to stop giving these bitches so much energy. That's what I want. And Whitney can go. Why doesn't her hair grow? I want her to go.
Damn. Okay.
Sorry.
So, anyways, Meredith comes out in a horse carriage, and it's snowing considerably in Florida. So that was like, I mean, not Florida, Utah. And so to watch her slowly come, it was like that is just so extra. It was almost like windy with the boat thing. It was like y'all could have just walked in the car. Y'all didn't have to do all
Trying
that.
to copy previous Housewives moments. That's what I meant by Angie and the scroll in earlier seasons. Like, it doesn't give off or come off well. Your read is not cute. It's not going to be legendary if you're just trying to have a moment and copy other Housewives, which is what all these heifers do.
Yeah, but Meredith's on there with her son, her sons, Brooks, and I forgot the oldest one's name, but he was cute as hell, and their daughter, and I will say Meredith's all three of Meredith's kids have her exact face. I was watching this morning, and I said, "Damn!" I'm looking at four Merediths right now. Her oldest son has her smile and her jaw structure. Brooks has her entire face, like from top to bottom, and then the other daughter has Seth's eyes, but has her mouth. It's like, oh gosh, y'all have. I mean, they're all beautiful kids. Don't get me wrong, but it's like when I actually see that, and because I'm back and forth with Meredith. I like her sometimes, and then I don't. And right now, I don't. It's just scary to see carbon copies of her all over the place. It just was scary to see. But Meredith is greeting everybody. She's happy that Angie come, even though she has problems with Angie right now. And everyone goes inside, and Meredith begins her, what is that? I don't want to call it a sermon, but whatever that's called. Meredith goes up there. She starts, saying the prayer. She sings the song, and really starts to begin the process of it. Mary shows up. Mary says that, considering what she has going on, religion is important to her and Meredith is important to her. So she wanted to make sure she didn't really miss it, even though Mary is very late. So Mary is walking up on the patio of this place, and she doesn't know how to get in there. She doesn't know where the door is. So Mary is peeking through and sneaking and peeking through the window to look in the event. And where she is looking in the window, everybody is sitting facing her, and you had to really be paying attention to see her. But you were obviously, once you did see her, it was obvious that who that was and what she was doing. So she kept walking and she kept peeking, and she was doing it for a minute. So Georgia, which is Heather's daughter, said, "Look, look, look, look." And Heather looks and goes, "Oh my God, that's Mary. She's late." And Mary just kept looking through the window. And when I tell y'all, I was literally on the floor laughing
I
my
was
ass off. I
hollering
was dying.
so loud that my husband had to come from the next room to see what the hell was going. Mary,
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 come on now. Now you do that. You knew you were supposed to do it, but I tell y'all, she reminded me of a nosy ass black lady. I promise you, that is what nosy ass black women do. They don't care if they making a scene. They don't care what they looking for. They gonna peek before they walk in somewhere. But y'all, I couldn't with Mary. I literally laughed and fell off my bed. Like I was on my floor, just laughing. One, because I failed, and then two, I just couldn't believe she did. I mean, I could believe because it's Mary, but it was like, Mary, come on now. I laughed, but she ends up making her way into the event space, and she sits down. And it was a very dramatic, session for Meredith. She starts crying as she's giving her next speech about how much being, Jewish means to her, her heritage, and how because she didn't have a bar mitzvah a bar mitzvah when she was a younger child, and she had to become an adult to do it herself. She said that that really made her step away from her faith. So she's glad that she's able to reignite it, but also become a better one where there's more acceptance. Jewish is also another religion where homosexuality is not allowed in. Also, certain ethnicities are not allowed in. Like, it's just one of those things where she wants to be all inclusive, and I loved it. I did. What y'all saying? Meredith is a subliminal, and she is absolutely.
I just want to know why her mama looked better than her in the
Her mom
face.
was beautiful. I said,
Her
"Go ahead,
mom,
let
Meredith's
them
mom, is
cheeks,
beautiful.
let them
Um,
cheeks," and I said,
and then I
"Oh,
look at Meredith, I said, damn, you had to find the right surgeon and makeup artist.
okay, because
But
that's naturally pretty right there.
yeah,
That was
I
that
feel like
was."
the more Meredith touches her face, it's gonna tear her up because the way her mom is aging,
Mhm.
but
Yeah,
hey,
I've seen older pictures of Meredith, like when before she even. I think this was like years and years ago. They has put old pictures up of Meredith. Meredith, I'm telling you, Brooks has Meredith's entire face because that's exactly what she looked like. She's like Brooks with hair.
hmm,
That's what she looked like. She like Brooks. If Brooks had a long ass weave, that's exactly what Meredith looked like.
hmm.
So, um, but yeah, I was. It was nice. It was pretty. So they start the festivities of everyone being in social circles and everything. Um, the first thing that happens is Mary goes up to Meredith, and Mary says, "I'm so proud of you. I'm happy for you, but we do need to talk." And Mary just told her like flat out, like, "I don't like that you left my house. Like, I didn't tell you to leave. I didn't feel like you were a friend because no friend has ever left my house before." So hold on one second.
Hmm.
Sorry, y'all. I had to take care of something. But no, and Meredith is just smiling, just nodding her head, saying yes, because you can tell Meredith still feel a way about Mary. But Meredith says she apologizes for walking out of Mary's home, and Mary then apologized for saying that if she felt like Meredith had to leave her home, or something that Mary said that was like, "I'm sorry that you felt you had to leave because you didn't." It was something like that. So they hug it out, and Mary says that she loves her. And Mary says in her confessional that Meredith is one of her closest friends, and that she will, always love her and always be here for her. I wonder if they get into it again because when Mary did her interviews in the beginning, this wasn't what she was talking about. Mary was on a whole different agenda. So I don't know what happened from now to then, but how'd you feel about the Meredith and Mary scene, Mrs. Best?
Um, I was glad to see people like move on from something, but it's Housewives, so we know that they make up just to argue about the same thing again. But I don't know. Um, I'm glad that Mary went because they would have just held it against her. But I don't know. This cast is weird as a
It
whole.
is weird. I'm about to get into another weird scene here. So Angie and Lisa are talking. And Angie tells Lisa that she noticed that Bronwyn was kind of giving her cold stuff and she didn't know what that was about. And so Lisa said, "You should talk to her because maybe she feels a way about how you were talking to her at the camp event." So Angie pulls Bronwyn aside, and I don't know what, Angie is weird to me. Like, she's just really strange. So she was like, I wanted to come up and talk to you because I felt like, you're not speaking to me. And I felt like what you did was wrong and I deserved an apology. And Brahma looked at her and she said, "Oh, you deserved an apology." And she was like, "Yeah." I don't know if it's cognitive dissonance. I don't know if it's self righteousness with Angie, but if she felt offended by you saying "shut the fuck up" to me, and that's a trigger, or that's something I don't appreciate you doing because I didn't do anything wrong, then yes, the natural step is apologize. And Angie was saying that you twisted our words to Lisa and Heather, and it was like Brown said, "No, I didn't do that." What ended up happening is I told them exactly what you guys said, and I also told them what I said. It was nothing more, nothing less. And Angie's all like, "Well, you know what? That's what I know. They were different towards us and everything." And Brown was getting pissed at this point because Angie doesn't apologize. So Angie says, "Fine, if you want me to apologize for telling you to shut the fuck up, like if that will make you feel better, I'm sorry." And I said, "Not that if it will make you feel better. I'm sorry. Y'all, when Angie said that, I was like,
The
oh,
most passive aggressive, insulting, effortless, condescending, obnoxious apology that one could pretend to give.
when I tell you I would have cussed Angie's ass out right there at that table, Meredith event would have been fucked up at this point. Because first of all, not I know you're not telling me if I hurt you or if you need me to apologize. It was like no, you should be empathetic anyway. But the fact that you're not, it just she was so cold. So Brahman was like, "Oh, Angie, you can kiss my ass. I am not going to accept that apology if you really think you should apologize." And and she was like, "Well, you said you want an apology. You should just accept it." And even in her confessional, she goes, "You said you want an apology. I gave it to you." Like it was like Angie, you gave her a passive aggressive and a very mean spirited apology. No one's going to accept that. I don't know where
That's
you think
why
you
I've
are.
never liked Angie K on this show because she does extra stuff and she likes the woe is me, I'm a victim, I'm a sweet woman, I love my family and culture. I would never treat someone like this. But then Angie K's behavior this whole episode gave mean girl. Mean.
It gave the popular clique that Heather wanted to be a part of. Now I
Yes.
understand. I understand it now. I understand why Heather didn't like her in the beginning. I understand it now because Angie is the mean girl, but Heather wanted to be a part of that clique in high school, but she wasn't, aesthetically, pleasing for them. So she never went.
Still isn't. Still isn't.
Anyways, but y'all, so Todd intercepts because he sees that Bromwyn is, getting a little bit more aggressive in her tone and a little bit more belligerent. And y'all remember he don't like that. And this was probably the one time I'm gonna give him a pass because of what the event is. If this was something else, then I'd probably be like, oh Todd, I don't need this from you tonight. I do not need this from you tonight. But he intercepted and he said, and Angie said, "You're the better half, Todd. You're amazing. Bronwyn is just, and everything." And he goes, "Okay, well, we're gonna go get a drink. Do you want a drink?" And Bronwyn said, "No, don't you ask her if she want no drink. No, she don't deserve no drink. She's over here trying to accuse me of things. I asked her for an apology for telling me to shut the fuck up, and she wouldn't do it. No, she doesn't need no drink." And he grabs Bronwyn, who walks away. They walk to the bar. And Brahma tells him, like, look, no, that's not for you to do. You don't go up there and ask some girl if you want to drink. We're in the middle of an argument. And I'm being loud and everything. And she says this, which she goes, if I'm right, then I'm doing something wrong. And if I'm wrong, it's still wrong, regardless in your eyes. So I don't even know. So she tells me, I need an espresso martini in the most proud tone. And I was like, what the hell is going on in this marriage?
I think
Because
that Todd and Bronwyn have a marriage like many marriages that's more complex that people think that they can understand and think that they will know about. But their marriage dynamic is much different from anyone's marriage dynamic. And I'm not talking about income wise. I think the age gap plays a part in it to a certain extent. But this scene with him and Bronwyn showed me that I do think that he does care about her. I do see like love in the relationship. Um, Personally, Bronwyn, that man is worth more than all of his cast probably put together combined. So I feel like he kind of gives off the energy of like, you need to act as if my bosses or investors are in the room at all times, even when they're not in the room. That's the energy Todd gives off. I feel like him and Bronwyn may have discussed that at some point. Now she's on this show acting a fool. What I get from this, I don't think they have horrible problems in their marriage. I don't think it's perfect, but I don't think they have problems so bad that they're like unhappy or heading to divorce. I think that these cameras in front of their face is a very new dynamic to an older man who's in business who don't want to deal with the drama and the BS. What do you expect him to do if he's not offering her a drink or whatever? You expect him to like be yelling and arguing with her for you? He's a man. He cannot do that. Her husband was not there. So when needed, Todd will check and put somebody out for his wife if needed. We see how he went up to Lisa's husband, but in this situation, Angie's husband wasn't around, so like you, I agree with everything that Todd did. I think with Bronwyn, and I said this when watching, and I texted it to James after I watched it. I wish she would have done what she said she was gonna do. Until I get an apology from you, bitch, we don't got shit to talk about, and walk away. And if Angie followed you, then I would turn and say, "Why are you following me and harassing me at this event?" Like, Bronwyn is smart, but I think her fault, and probably what will also make her good TV, is she will read you up and down. She will keep it a buck with you. But if you keep prying her, if you poke her, poke her, poke her, poke her, she will bark and bite you eventually. And she needs to learn to like walk away and, allow them to look like the crazy person. Now, I wish Todd, you don't need to address this bitch. If you see me arguing with somebody, you don't need to address them. Like my husband seen me get into it with people before. He not gonna address them if there's a female at all. But he sure the hell has grabbed his wife and took my arm and pulled my ass the hell away. We just gonna walk away. If I can't do it, he'll do that for me. So I feel like Todd should have just, come on, babe, don't worry about her. Gave her a kiss and took her to the bar. That's all he needed to do. But I don't think his intention was to like not side with his wife. I think he was just trying to shut them up. You're at a religious event acting a fool. If Bronwyn would have walked away, then no matter what happened from this conversation, Angie would have looked a fool. Why the fuck are you walking up to this woman? Because Angie approached her to discuss something like this at a religious event. Come on now. I have been to church in over 10 years, okay? But if I do go, right, because my dad's into church real heavy, if I do go, then I'm not going to act a fool and bring up family drama and beefs while at church or at the event. It's too much. So I think Bronwyn's temper is a little much, but that's what I got from it. But I think they'll be fine. The marriage.
I do too. I think they'll be fine as well. I think that, as I said, I actually saw his point of view better in this scenario than I did the previous scenarios. Well, maybe I was 50-50 on the Palm Springs trip because he did pay for that shit. So I'm like, okay, look, if I spend my money, I don't want to hear that shit either. So, I kind of saw where he was going, but it was just the reprimanding her I did not like. But in this situation, it was a little bit different. I felt like for where they were, I felt it was appropriate. He really didn't come at her hard. He was just trying to get her back down to reality because Angie took it way further. Even though Angie was in the wrong, I do agree with that. But it's just like, Brahman, how you respond to things. Like he said, you should have just walked away, which she should have. I
If
would have
you
walked
know
away.
that you are better than somebody and you're going back and forth with them, then you should know that they're not going to be able to see your point of view. So maybe be better than that person since you know that they don't have that ability and walk the hell away. It is okay to walk away. I think the best example is someone doing that on reality TV because I know a lot of people say, well, they're on a show, they have to put on a show. No, that takes away the reality. Look at Tambra Shree from Bell Collective. In the previous season, not the one that's on television now, a lady named Marie was playing with her. The lady tried to approach her about something at an event that it was not the appropriate time to do so. And Tambra said, "Okay, take care," and walked away and left that woman looking dumbfounded and stupid to where now that a new season is on, she's, we've got to move on and all this extra stuff. No, bitch, she walked away from you and that left the audience to really come at you. That's what Bronwyn should have done. It's okay to walk away from people. Sometimes you can read people without saying nothing at all.
Totally agree with you with that because I would have did the same. I'd have walked away. As soon as she said that apology, I'd have been like, okay, you want to get cussed out. This ain't the place for me to do it, so let me walk away from you.
Just walk
So,
away.
right. So the next thing we see is a exchange between Heather and Whitney. And Lisa walks up, which I don't know why she did this, but pretty much Whitney told Heather, look, what Bronwyn said was not what happened. And Heather was like, I know it didn't. Like, what you said wasn't even all that bad. And it's not something that you've hid from me. You said that to my face before. We're good. You ain't even got to do all of that. We're good. And Whitney is trying to explain, that Bronwyn twists things and she's starting to see that now. And Lisa's like, no, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. Whitney, stop lying. Stop lying. And I'm looking at Lisa like, I don't like to impose violence. I really don't. Yeah, I try to be on the higher side of the spectrum. But I would not have been mad if Whitney would have mushed her in her face. I would not have been mad. Because the last thing I need is your obnoxious ass to interject something that you walked in on that you ain't even supposed to be a part of. Like, damn. I don't see how John does it, but then I feel like John is just like Lisa. He's just more toned down and hides his better. But Lisa was just entirely
John dated the sister of his girlfriend. You are absolutely right. He ain't shit either. And he
Yeah.
can't drive. And I will never let that go. Because there's nothing more unattractive than a man who can't parallel park. I said what I said.
I don't because now I pictured it in my mind because I remember I told you I thought that was Mary. I really did. For some reason, I thought that was Mary, but the fact that it wasn't, we're gonna move on from there. John, learn how to parallel park that Range Rover or Land Rover, whatever that was better. So, anyways, y'all, moving on from there, Bronwyn finds her way back to the group. Bronwyn finds her way back to the group, and she ends up being with Brittany. Who else was at that damn table? Brittany and was Mela at that table?
She was standing off to the side like a creeper, lurking.
Okay, because I felt like she was there. So she goes, Brahma said that I'm into it, everybody. So I guess you know what? Everything makes it around this group. So I guess me and you will be friends for now. Now she said friends for now, or she said friends for a minute or so, and Brittany took that as a segue, like, oh my god, me and Bronwyn are good friends now, and I can just tell her. And Brittany is saying that she really just is really upset about Angie and all this situation, and Bronwyn also is telling her her situations with Angie and everything. So Lisa walks up to the table as well. And Mary comes, I think Mary and Angie's at some point join the table with them. And Brittany is pissed. Brittany said, Angie, I don't appreciate you basically just calling me a slut. And Angie was like, I didn't call you a slut. And Brittany said, you said that I did 10 guys. Angie said, I did not say that. I said it was 3. I said it was. And she goes, no, I heard 10, and I don't appreciate that because I am a good practicing Mormon. And I say, here she go with that again. And I don't know how the conversation. I think Brittany asked her, do I look like a slut or something? And then they looked at her. She said, well, um, what she said about her hair, your hair is giving slut, that outfit is giving slut. And when I tell y'all, Lisa,
High body count hair,
high body count hair, thank you.
which
High
is a
body count
thing.
hair.
Just saying, it is a thing. She
It,
said it was
you
very
well,
pornish.
first off, uh, yeah, Brittany, that hair was terrible. That outfit was terrible, Brittany. I'm sorry, Angie got you with that one. When I tell you, I was Lisa. Lisa laughed so hard. I've never seen Lisa laugh that hard in my life. And Mary's like Angie just kept going, kept going. She's like, and Brittany was all like, "Oh my gosh, she's talking about me. I can't believe this. I've never been so insulted in all my life." And so she goes over to the table. Okay, Mela wasn't at the table. She was at the table with Whitney. And she goes, Angie just called me a slut, or said I had no. Angie said I had what was it again, Mrs. Best? I'm sorry, I keep this.
High body count hair, very pornish, she said after. I now the high body count hair, I was like, I've heard that before, so I was like, oh, I get that. But when she re- followed that up and reiterated with, yeah, very pornish, I said, oh shit.
I was like, wow, not pornish too. So Whitney said, Angie, that was really mean. Like, and they all and Mela turned around and Angie said, you got it too, talking about Mela. And Mela said, because Mela hair was terrible, was told too. I was like, y'all don't know how to do it. Like,
Honestly, all these women look stupid. Half of them did. Lisa, Maylee, all of them. Why are y'all in tube tops and strapless dresses and shit in the snow? This lady came into this event on a sled. Y'all was outside in the snow in the dead of winter, and they was barely in anything. I said,
right.
but when I think of Salt Lake City Housewives, I don't think of fashion with this franchise. I just don't.
No,
I
I
know
don't.
that some of them have the money to do it, but I don't think of fashion with this franchise. Hell, I'll
I,
give Dorit that, but not with this
right.
franchise.
I agree. So Brittany makes her way out to an outside space where Brooks and Chloe were, which is Meredith's kids. And I was laughing because all I heard was Brooks say, you look beautiful, and all this and everything. It was like, oh God, here we go with them kids and everything. And Brittany is just crying. So they told Angie, like, okay, Brittany is outside crying. It was Whitney. Whitney said, Brittany's out there crying. You don't want to leave her like this. And Angie said, no, I don't. I'll go and apologize to her. So Brittany makes her way back in. And, once again, Angie with her apologies, they don't land. It's the most very passive aggressive, very angry, very like mean girl high school apologies. And Meredith comes over. And as Meredith comes over, she says, Brooks told me you were crying and everything. What's going on? And she says, I have high body count hair. And Lisa's arm in arm with her. And Lisa says, well, you do need a little bit of Keratis therapeutic on you. And I said, what the fuck is that?
I see a bunch of white people online commenting on the Bravo Snark Side page, which I love, saying that Lisa actually did the girl a favor by recommending those type of hair products. Listen, I'm not going to comment. I am a black woman mixed with Creole, Native American, and my family is Kenyan and Eso Nigerian. So what I'm trying to say to you people politely on YouTube is I got naps of Kuta Kente up in my head. So I do not use the same products as these women. I had to Google it and look after seeing it online. But the clear people are saying that whatever that product is, it could help her. Now, I also feel as though Lisa Barlow is not one that I would want to take hair advice from, considering that her hair does not ever change at all. It sits flat, it lacks volume. She occasionally has split ends, and I can't help but pay attention to the old lady mouth. So I don't know what these women are talking about. What I will say though, James, I view Angie as an asshole now because she would never come for anybody else on this cast the way she came for that poor girl Brittany because she knows they would read her for fucking filth. But you intentionally decide to come for the person who you know is a dingbat that's going to cry at the drop of a water from the sky. Like the thought of rain will make Brittany cry. So it's like if you're going to beef with somebody that at least is like your match and equal. Like arguing with Brittany, like I would never argue with her. That's one of the people you just have to be like, oh my God, this dingbat, and leave it there. Like you really do. I can't understand why she went so hard for Brittany. I just can't. And then Brittany, do better. You're gonna be on TV. You could have read her, been like, well, last season Monica pulled up actual paperwork showing that all of your companies is in debt. So I may have high body count hair, but at least my hair does not cause me to go into debt. Miss
Okay.
Hairstylist.
Right.
Like read her right back.
Brittany, let me explain something to you, ma'am. I don't care for you. I don't. But on the show, you do well. If you come back next season, I need you to be stronger than this. If you come back next season, I need you to be ready.
You
If you
won't,
come back
James.
next season, I need you to be a little bit more Cameron Diaz and stop being Mary Poppins. Like, I need you to get with it. Like, I need you to be ready to read, write, and get it together. Because I don't know what this was with all this crying, all this walking away, all this woe is me. I don't want to hear that from you no more. So if you come back next season, I need you to be ready.
Mm. Yeah,
I'm
she
just saying, because
Brittany
all
makes
this crying,
good TV. I feel like they'll bring her back because the overly emotional like weirdness works to a certain extent. But if she comes back, like Brittany, contact Mrs. Best Reviews. I can tutor you if you like. We could do the little thing. You put me in your ear, and I can hear her, and I can tell you what to say. Oh, she said that about you, But she needs help. She needs to be tutored. She does.
you do. Like, I'm just sorry. That's why I said, yes, Naya. That's why I said read and write. I need her to be able to do that because I'm sorry. She could be likable, y'all. She really could. But I can't do the whole, woe is me, 1996 Rosewood white woman accusing a black man of doing something that he didn't do. I'm sorry. I can't deal with that kind of personality trait. And that's what that lady gives me. I'm sorry. She gives me that white lady that was in the movie Rosewood. She do. And I just can't do that. Like, y'all know how I feel about women like that. I just can't do it. So I don't know what y'all saying. Brittany is too stupid to know she's a joke. She repeated what Angie said, and no one disagreed with her because it's true. It is
Preach,
true. It is.
preach.
You
Preach.
more worried about your dating life than the disconnect you have with your children.
Thank you.
There's a problem with that. There's a huge problem with that. So, and if that in Bravo, don't y'all let her back on this show if she don't address that. If she don't at least have, I need to hear at least a phone conversation, or I need one of her kids to meet up with one of the other ladies. This is the one time I'll make an
Can we
exception.
at least see a scene of her sitting at home needing to talk to her friend Heather because she has been trying to call or email her child and got no response? I mean, she ain't spoke about nothing but these nasty ass Osmonds. I can't.
Hmm. And so, moving on from there, y'all. Meredith is had it with Angie and her slut shaming. Um, what's going on here? That's not true about Judaism. My husband is Israeli, and he called as a Jew, I mean a brown Jew from the Arab world, from his family roots are Morocco. They're Jews of every race.
When did we talk about Jewish
Oh,
love?
and probably when I said that with Meredith's speech, that was her speech. That's what she said in her speech. She wants people of all colors. All I get, and that's what I'm saying. I'm guessing because based on her speech, that's what she said. So I'm pretty sure you're not here with us in current time. You're probably watching the playback, which is fine. But know when you get here, that was based on Meredith's speech, not really what I'm talking about in my own personal views and eyes.
Yes.
Yes. There are about Jews from me. I know this. I know this. Americans are more. I know this. Thank you. I know all of that. I do. But I'm going based on what Meredith was saying because that's what she said in her speech. She wants it to be all inclusive of all people of color, all people of sexuality. She said gays and all this. Like she said that in her speech. So that's what I'm talking about. Brooks was driving. The little lady was great. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Meredith is had it up to here with Angie, and Shay said, "Security, security! I want this woman out of my headspace now. She's always doing something. She's always slut shaming. She's always talking about women, and I cannot take it anymore. I want her gone. Off with her head." And I'm looking at Meredith like, Meredith, you ain't even trying to even ask Angie, well, what is your version of the story? You just jumped off the deep end. Oh, ooh, okay. So Angie's like, Meredith, that's very classless and it's very tasteless that you would want to throw me out of your event
It's
like this. You
classless and
invited me.
tasteless to argue with people at a religious event, ceremony, wedding. Like, if this was like the reception to a wedding or something, I would accept it a little more. But you're doing this at this woman's bar mitzvah, and that is a very important event for this woman in her religion, especially since she's trying to reconnect. I don't even like Meredith, but I was like, okay, let's see if she actually keeps up with the bar mitzvah. And she did. So I was like, you acting a fool. And it's even more classless to be asked to leave and arguing with the host of the event that's asking you to leave. And then you do this when her family's around. Now, if she did some BS bar mitzvah, which we've seen people do unfortunately on TV, where she's just doing this for TV because she needs a moment, fine. This woman's child who don't ever be on camera, her mother, her family members, like her actual family, was at this event. And you are arguing with her. You are going up to Bronwyn and causing trouble. You just arguing with whoever at this event while your husband's running around with his hat somewhere in this event. It's just like, Angie, you are sitting here trying to make it seem like everyone else is classless, but you're the classless one. You could have waited for another time, or at least to the end when everyone was getting to a point of leaving and argued in the parking lot with her or something. You could have done that, but instead you want to do it in an event around her family and stuff. So I did not blame Meredith for wanting to put her out, but I'm gonna call Meredith out on her own hypocrisy because you was just crying to Mary because you were in Mary's home acting a hot ass mess, right? And Mary said either you act right or you leave. She gave you the option to get it together or to get the hell out, right? And you want to be mad at Mary for putting you out when you was acting a fool in her actual home, right? While she's going through shit. But now you feel like you have the right to actively put somebody out. Don't ever come to me crying about Mary putting you out, Meredith, because you got security and had this bitch put out. Mary didn't have nobody escort you out. It didn't go like that. She said either you leave or that's that. She didn't have security. You had security, two big ass men escort Angie's little ass out. So I don't want Meredith to say anything to Mary when this reunion comes. You have no argument. Because the same way you got mad at somebody acting a fool at an event that was not your house, well, you acted that same fool in somebody's house. So don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. That's all I'm
I'm
saying. That's
saying,
all I'm
Meredith,
saying.
we going all the way in. All the way in if you do this at this reunion. I'm just letting you know that right now.
But I was glad she put Angie out.
Me too.
I was glad.
Yes.
I was
It was
glad.
definitely warranted, but it was just very juicy and funny coming from her of all people.
Yeah.
It just
Hypocrisy.
yes, yeah,
Ridiculous.
absolutely. Yes, right. And so Angie is still upset. She's yelling from across the room. Lisa comes out and tells her, okay, look, like, calm down. It's not, And Angie is still going off like she came to my house for a party, didn't bring a gift. I welcomed her in my home and she invited me here. And now she's throwing me out. She threw the white napkin and everything. Mary comes out. Mary's like, Angie, what are you doing? What's going on? She goes, Meredith kicked me out and I am leaving and everything. And Mary was like, oh Lord, like what is going on around here?
Mary is me. When drama is happening, and for some reason, I don't know why this happens. Be it for the child, I go to events, somebody always acts up. I'll be looking around confused, like, huh? Oh, okay. You getting put out? Oh, all
Mm-hmm.
right. Well, where them finger sandwiches at? Like,
No, what's funny is when security brought her, I think it was either Naya or Jen, one of you guys put in the comment when she threw down Brittany's coat. She said, this is Brittany's coat. It's not even my coat. I was hollering. I was like, not you throwing that lady's stuff. Like, damn.
see,
Angie
and
is
that's
something.
what I mean, Brittany. You need to stand up for yourself because the whole issue, the high body count here, I don't think that was enough to cry off of. But Angie did try to make it seem like this girl dating a bunch of men was a problem. She is single. I don't see the issue with that. If I was single, I would have me a little roster and they would each serve a purpose. And I would get to the when I get to the when somebody decide they want to be faithful, marry me, fine. But you throwing her jacket on the ground and all of that, Brittany, I don't know where you're from, but it's not about being from a rough neighborhood or none of that. You touch my property and you put it on the ground, I'm coming out to the parking lot with your ass. As soon as them guards release you, I would have just popped her in the mouth. That's it.
I've seen somebody throw someone's stuff down and they threw the flute at their head.
I
The
would have
same
popped her in
flute
the
they
mouth.
was drinking that champagne out. What I tell you, that made direct contact for the back of that girl's head. I said, oh,
You want to talk about this girl hair, who she sleep with, and all of these extra things. Absolutely not. And then you want to throw the property. Brittany, I need you to man up.
right.
Hell.
Because Brittany just picked up her little coat and just, I can't believe she did this. And I was looking at Brittany like, see, this was where security would have to hold me back. Because you
I
ain't
would
gonna
have
throw
popped
my
her in the
shit.
mouth, right
You
under
gonna
her chin.
Meredith, and that's once again, this ain't the place to do this because y'all just coming in this lady's shit and just tearing it all up just with these words and stuff. So everyone leaves, pretty much from the event. Everyone's like, okay, time to go. And Lisa was like, oh my God, that was so crazy. But we're going to Florida after. And she goes, Mary's like, yes, I can't wait. And Lisa said everyone is at odds with each other, so this is going to be one interesting trip. And I said, it's so ironic that Lisa is hosting the trip this season. It's like, oh boy, here we go.
I'm gonna tell you this. Lisa likes to pretend she richer than she really is. Puerto Vallarta is not expensive. That's
It's
all I'm gonna say.
it's not an expensive trip at
It's
all.
also the honeymoon one. It used to be a honeymoon capital, but
I was gonna say, yeah, I think that's
used to be. But I'm like, hell, I don't know. I don't know why they would go there, but okay.
well, going overseas costs more, so this they still haven't made that bump up money to go to Europe. The
They
only way they're
will
doing
if
that
they
is if
get rid of. They need to get rid of Heather and Whitney, and maybe we can. Hell,
they're not gonna do that for them because it'll be a strong. Oh yeah,
damn,
damn.
damn, damn.
They do need to go somewhere overseas, like to Japan, to Asia, Europe. But as I said, the only way they'll do that is if one of them pays for it. So, they're not going there anytime soon. They still got about 2 or 3 more seasons before that happens. So, but that was pretty much the episode, y'all. It was a great episode. I'm glad that they kept it at one place, one moment, one time. Shout out to, the women for bringing it. Once again, Angie did entirely too much, but some of it I laughed at. Some of it I was like, Angie, this is not a good look. Now I'm starting to see as I'm talking about this, I see why you got first chair now because you was entirely too much.
You don't deserve first chair to just be hollering at an event like this. But at the same time, Angie has been relevant in most of the episodes. So I can kind of see why they did it. I just wish that something like this would have happened with someone who would actually like give us like that back and forth, like a game of tennis to see or something. Because Brittany's just gonna cry each time and run to whoever will feel sorry for her. So
Mhm.
right, they
And
should go to
Brittany,
Greece.
you and your high body count hair and your high body count dress that looks very pornish. As I said, I'm gonna need you next season to learn how to read and write. I need you to get them together because it's very possible for you to do it. We didn't see Lily White ladies come up and do it, so you need to do it as well. You're not exempt from this. If you want to be about this show and you want to get up on here, you're gonna have to start acting the part. I'm not gonna give you no grace periods or no slides. You need to learn how to read. When Angie came up to you and said that, you needed to talk about something of her because it's very easy to do. So I'm just saying. But that was the episode, y'all. Tell me what y'all thought of the episode. Did you like it? Whose side are you on? Were you okay with Angie doing all this? Were you not? How do you feel about Bronwyn? I'm gonna tell y'all like this. I'm taking a step or two back from Bronwyn. I'm not quite liking her right now. Even though she's not wrong, it's just something about her movement is a little off to me.
Don't
So
make somebody think that you are their friend just to intentionally throw them under the bus. That's off. I didn't like that piece, but Brahma got she needs to see an anger management therapist or something because I think she gets
yeah,
mad and then
there's
goes
something
all over
there.
the place. Yeah, she
I
goes
agree with that. There's
all over the
something.
place.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah, I'm gonna take a step or two back from Bronwyn for a little bit, just for a little bit. I still like her, but I'm just gonna take a step back because she's the way she's moving right now is weird and it's strange, and it makes me question how I feel about her now. The first 10 episodes, because now my mind is starting to change now, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all. You too, Jim Bunny. Okay, so it's not just me. There's something with Bronwyn that is not
She's
quite
friends with Lisa, and so though we like Bronwyn, the fact that she came on as Lisa's friend made me. It makes me put my little, red flags, all of that. I sense them because birds of a feather flock together, and Lisa will throw whoever under the bus. We
yeah.
seen how she did Meredith to be relevant. So yeah, there's something with Bronwyn that's off, but I still think that part of why people like her is more so that she read women who need to be read and clearly demonstrate the worst parts of white privilege at times. And nobody's really come on the show and read them properly other than Monica. And
You
I
know
don't
what would
know what
be
Bronwyn
interesting
will do.
if they actually got rid of Whitney and switched her out for Monica, and then got rid of Heather and switched her out for who am I thinking of? Oh, Brittany.
I don't need Heather on this show anymore.
I really
I
feel
just
like one
don't.
of them is gonna get the axe. I feel like it's gonna be Whitney. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like it's
Likely.
gonna be Whitney. I feel like they're gonna because there is plans to bring Monica back from what I heard. This is allegedly. This is allegedly. They are trying to in some way or show bring her back in some way because she is going to be mentioned some part in this season. So I feel like that's them trying to inch her back in because she needs to be back. She does. She needs to be back because she
Nobody
wasn't that bad.
likes bad weather. They little nickname. Nobody likes bad weather in real life. So
Heather has
yeah.
not had a storyline. We're 12. Not that I would. Once we go to Heather's storyline, that's when I tap out because I'm gonna say Heather. We're moving on because I don't care. So I'm glad she really hasn't had a storyline because I mentioned her in passing, but I really want to see hers because they're not bringing anything. Whitney's not bringing anything. This little shit with Lisa was stupid. So yes, but I'm gonna go have another live schedule that I'm very late to, you guys. We're gonna do Bell Collective, and then we're gonna call it a night, or we'll see what happens with Love and Marriage Huntsville because I forgot that's coming on tonight. So we'll see what happens there. But yes, let's go ahead and go to Bell Collective, and I do too. I'm gonna start doing that even though I recapped that show, I'm gonna start doing that if I don't hear much more from her. But all right, I'll see you guys in my next live. I gotta go. So thank you guys for being here. We had fun, and I really appreciate you all for commenting and showing me some love. I do appreciate that. Make sure you guys like the video and also subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed. And I'll see you guys next time.